Friends, if you've been anxiously checking the Visa Bulletin month after month, holding your breath for any sign of progress, then this video is going to feel like a breath of fresh air. The October 2025 US Visa Bulletin has just been released, and let me tell you, there's some huge relief on the way for green card applicants, especially for those of you in the employment-based categories, the EB cases. Now, I know how stressful this process can be. For many of you, it's not just about numbers on a page. It's about your family's future, your career, your stability here in the United States. Every single update in that bulletin can mean months or even years of waiting shaved off or unfortunately added on. That's why today's update is such a big deal and why I'm here to break it all down for you in a clear, simple way. In this video, we'll walk through the October 2025 Visa Bulletin step by step, looking at which categories moved forward, which ones stayed the same, and most importantly, what it means for you. If you're in EB1, EB2, or EB3, you'll want to stick with me because there are some positive shifts that might finally bring your priority date closer to becoming current. And here's the thing. I know this whole process can feel overwhelming. Charts, dates, cutoffs, final action versus dates for filing. It's enough to make your head spin. But don't worry. My job here is to make it simple, straightforward, and easy to understand. By the time we're done, you'll know exactly how this bulletin impacts your case and what next steps you should be ready for. So whether you're checking to see if you can finally file your adjustment of status, or you just want to know if your wait is getting shorter, I've got you covered. This isn't just about sharing numbers. It's about making sure you feel confident, prepared, and supported as you move forward in your immigration journey. Stick with me, because we'll go through everything together. And if you find this helpful, do me a favor, hit that like button. It's a small thing, but it really helps get this important information out to more people who need it, just like you. So let's dive in and take a close look at what the October 2025 Visa Bulletin is bringing for green card applicants in the EB categories. All right, let's jump right into the heart of it. The October 2025 Visa Bulletin has given us a lot to talk about, and honestly, it's one of those updates that feels like a bit of a turning point. You know how sometimes the bulletin comes out and it feels like nothing has moved, everything is stuck, and all you're left with is frustration? Well, this time, we're actually seeing movement, real progress, especially in the employment-based categories, and that's the reason so many people are calling it a relief. Let's start with the EB1 category because that's often the one that gets the most attention. If you're in EB1, whether as an outstanding professor, researcher, multinational manager, or executive, you've probably felt that roller coaster of seeing your category backlogged 1 month, then moving forward the next. For October 2025, the big news is that EB1 remains current for most countries, including India and China, which is huge. For so many of you who have been stuck waiting and hoping that your chance would finally come, this means you can actually move forward without the long delays that used to hang over EB1 like a cloud. Think about that for a moment. Being able to file, being able to plan, knowing that your application won't be left in limbo for years. That's not just a small update on a chart. That's life-changing news for families who've been waiting to start their green card journey. It means stability. It means the ability to make future plans. And it means that careers won't be held back because of paperwork and timelines. Now let's talk about EB2, which is where a lot of people are closely watching. This is the category for professionals with advanced degrees or exceptional ability, and honestly, it's one of the most heavily used categories. For a long time, especially for applicants from India and China, EB2 has been the source of so much frustration, with priority dates that seem like they never move. But October 2025 actually brings some light at the end of the tunnel. We're seeing forward movement in EB2 India and EB2 China. And while it's not a massive leap, even a few months of advancement is something that many families will celebrate. Why? Because every month matters. Every single step forward means someone who's been waiting for years can finally get a little closer to adjustment of status, work authorization for their spouse, or travel freedom without constant stress. For EB2, these changes are a signal that things are starting to unfreeze. And if this momentum continues, we could see even more positive movement in the months ahead. And then there's EB3, the category for skilled workers and professionals. EB3 has always been a mixed bag, sometimes moving faster than EB2, other times falling behind. But here in October 2025, the bulletin shows forward progress again. And for many of you who are in this category, that progress feels like validation. It means the years of waiting are not endless. It means you're not forgotten. It means that your case is inching forward, and that's something worth holding on to. I want to pause here and acknowledge something important. For a lot of immigrants, especially those who've been here for years, this process isn't just about paperwork. It's about patience, resilience, and holding on to hope when the system feels like it's working against you. It's about explaining to your children why you don't have certain freedoms yet, or why vacations abroad aren't possible because you're worried about getting stuck outside the US. It's about juggling career opportunities that might require permanent residency status and feeling like your dreams are on hold until a charge somewhere in Washington, D.C. finally moves in your favor. That's why this October bulletin matters so much. Because for once, the news isn't about being stuck or pushed back. It's about movement, relief, and the possibility of taking the next step. And if you're sitting there watching this, maybe with your priority date still not quite current but closer than it's ever been, I want you to know this. Your patience is not in vain. Progress may feel slow, but it is happening. Now, you might be wondering, what does this really mean for you in practical terms? Well, if your priority date is now current under the final action dates chart, that means your green card can actually be approved. If your date is current under the dates for filing chart, you can go ahead and submit your adjustment of status application, which opens the door to work permits and travel documents while you wait. Both of these are significant steps that can change the daily reality of your life here in the US. And let me say this, don't underestimate how much power there is in being able to file. Even if you're still waiting for final approval, being able to get work authorization or seeing your spouse finally get employment authorization, that can completely change the stability of your family. It means less stress about one income. It means your partner can build their own career, contribute financially, and feel like they're fully part of the life you're building together. That's why even small movements in the bulletin can be such a big deal. Something else I want to touch on is the emotional side of all this. Because if you're like most green card applicants, you've had moments of feeling drained, discouraged, maybe even hopeless at times. You've seen friends who started after you already finished their process, while you're still waiting. You've probably had nights lying awake wondering when your turn will finally come. So when a bulletin like this one comes along, bringing some genuine good news, I think it's important to celebrate that. It may not solve everything overnight, but it is a step forward, and steps forward are worth acknowledging. Now, I also know a lot of you are always looking ahead, asking, what happens next? What should I expect in the coming months? And while we can't predict the future with 100% certainty, what we can say is that October is the start of the new fiscal year for immigration. That means the annual allocation of green cards resets. And that's usually why we see some of the best forward movement in the October bulletin. It's like the system has fresh energy, new numbers to work with, and that creates space for priority dates to advance. So if this bulletin looks good, it could be a sign of even more positive changes as the year continues. Remember, the journey to a green card isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. And I know that marathon can be exhausting. But this October 2025 bulletin is proof that progress is possible, that the finish line does get closer, and that the sacrifices you've made along the way are leading somewhere. Keep that in mind as you move forward. So to wrap this up, here's what you need to take away. EB1 is looking great and largely current. EB2 is moving forward, especially for India and China. And EB3 is making progress too. That combination makes this one of the most encouraging bulletins we've seen in a while. If your date is current, take action, file your paperwork, get those benefits rolling. And if your date isn't quite there yet, stay encouraged. It's moving in the right direction, and your time is coming. Stick with me, because we're going to keep walking this road together. You don't have to go through it alone, and I promise to keep giving you the updates, the explanations, and the encouragement you need to navigate this process with confidence.